All right, so Stephen, let's turn to the global affairs of the day here. And look, again, none of us are inside any of the key players' heads here. The information is basically as public as it always is, which is that you can glean the types of forces that are at play here, principally around President Trump and about whether he steps it up. Now, does he keep giving weapons and further reassurances to Israel? One would imagine that's going to continue. They've got the only bomb that even if they had an awful lot of them, there's still a question mark about whether they can dig a hole deep enough to get rid of all of the stuff that's in and around Iran. But I did want to talk about the effect of powerful MAGA people who are at their core for a whole bunch of reasons, saying don't go there. Why? Because it could be the beginning of Iraq or Afghanistan. Conversely, a whole bunch of people with even more national security experience saying now's the time, do this and win it for Israel. What are your thoughts about not what Trump will do, but again, the forces on him now?
Look, the Republicans have always had a strand of them, which is now magnified and strengthened by MAGA views, that they're what we call isolationists. Then there's always been what you would call the more mainstream, sometimes you could call them hawks, but I'd call them establishment Republicans, and they've always believed that the prosperity and the success and growth in economies has been based on the US's ability to build alliances around the world to keep the world safe. And so those competing views in general, let's build the world, we get to sell more goods, we've got to grow the wealth, grow the prosperity of the world and particularly the US economy. That's been the dominant paradigm in the Republicans. But there is a very strong counter movement now where that pressure is enormous on Trump at the moment. And don't forget, he ran on a basis he'd be the president for peace. He'd fixed Russia-Ukraine in a day. He has spectacularly failed that. We would love him to succeed, but he spectacularly failed that. And he has empowered Netanyahu. Now, to be fair, Netanyahu's military operation in Iran has been extraordinary. The ability to have troops on the ground, covert troops, working with spies, working with people who want to see the fall of the regime, and they have decimated the Iranian military force. Within 48 hours, Israel had, air superiority over Iran. That's an extraordinary feat. But by taking out the surface-to-air missiles, by degrading their capacity, they've changed the game. And so there is a unique opportunity that no one thought could be there to take out all of the work being done by the Iranians. And that facility we've been talking about is probably the crown jewel because the Iranians have poured their resources in there thinking it was indestructible. To your point earlier, there has been a lot of discussion on this for the last 10 years, whether or not they need troops on the grounds. And again, that then comes to get inside that facility. So that has really opened up that chasm in the Republican MAGA movement at the moment. It is a fascinating debate. I ultimately hope that the traditional establishment hawks win and that those isolationists come to understand that America's influence in the world has led to prosperity for America.